Well, this is certainly a divisive and emotionally charged issue, and people on both sides showed up here at the Capitol today to voice their opinions on this as uncertainty looms in the state legislature, with that near total ban on track right now to go into effect as early as June. Now, activists with Arizona for Abortion Access, the group behind the effort to put abortion rights on the ballot, are encouraging people to get out and vote on this issue in November. Now, that measure would enshrine access to an abortion into the state constitution, allowing the procedure up until fetal viability or after to protect the health and life of the mother. Now, activists and community members today calling the 1864 near total ban on abortions cruel and dangerous, saying it could lead to women dying if they have complications.
We don't need to justify it for any reason, but I have friends who have had to have abortions because they would have lost their life if they hadn't done so. So this is healthcare for women, but women should have the ability to control what happens to their own body no matter what.
Meanwhile, people against abortion rallied here at the Capitol today as well, praising GOP lawmakers who blocked those attempts to repeal the near-total abortion ban. One woman said she encourages women to give their babies up for adoption instead of ending their pregnancies.
How many people are waiting to have a baby and can't? And where's all those babies? They could have just gone through, yes, a birth, but they could have given it to somebody that really wanted that baby.
Now, abortion rights activists today also accused GOP lawmakers of trying to suppress and confuse voters. This comes after a memo was leaked detailing Republicans' plans to potentially refer separate abortion measures to the ballot that could split or dilute support for Arizona for Abortion Access. Now, right now, Arizona for Abortion Access says it has gathered enough signatures to qualify for the November ballot. Reporting in Phoenix, Emma Lockhart for Arizona's Family.